Hello, everyone. It's Michelle, the Childcare Entrepreneur. Now, this is a very, very exciting month, and I know some have gone back to school in August, and most will start school in September. So, what I thought I would do is to do a little presentation on some of the important things as family childcare educators, providers that are really important to the success of the children. And that is to help the parents know how to assess children's learning at home. I think those are some of the questions that we probably receive. How do I know my child is learning? That has to do with a lot of the pre-K classes where we use play as a form of teaching the children. And a lot of times, what we're looking for when the children are learning during play is different than what parents are looking for during play. So I thought I would go over some of those things that could be very helpful. So the presentation is called Simple Ways for Family Childcare Providers to help parents assess children's learning at home. So let's get started. So some of the learning areas that we're going to be talking about are approaches to learning, social and emotional development, physical development and health, language literacy and communication, mathematics, science and technology, social studies, and creative arts. And there'll be videos to kind of give you an example of some of these areas as we go along in the presentation. So how do I know if children are learning? That's a key question, particularly for our younger set. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the different learning areas and show you some behaviors to look for in their learning journey. So some of the behaviors to notice, talking about their emotions, making healthy choices, sorting and matching. So, and then under each one, we're under each learning area, we're going to talk about those behaviors to notice. So using the behavior responses will give you an explanation of each area, a sample video for some behaviors, and things you can notice and encourage at home or at your home center. So approaches to learning. This is how children learn knowledge and skills, their thinking skills, and do they have a positive view of learning? That is very important as you are teaching the children. A positive view of learning means a lot. That means that they are understanding what's going on, they are soaking in what you are teaching them, and they can actually express either physically or verbally what they're doing, right? So the approaches to learning. So some behaviors to notice for this. Can they discuss the day's events using detail? Are they creating meaning? Are they making connections and discovering? Are they relating new and previous knowledge? Are they linking what they learned to real life? So those are some of the important behaviors to notice on approaches to learning. Now let's take a look at this video as parents are talking about approaches to learning for their 36 to 46 months old, and just listen to some of the words that they're using when they're describing these things.
What shape is this?
An house triangle.
Is it? Yes. Try triangle. How can we
But
cover
look at, you
this
can't
space
see
so we
it
can
now.
see Mila? Whoa.
Then now you can't see Mila. But we need one more.
One more.
We
What
need
shape? What shape?
Triangle.
Look at triangle.
He's in here. He's in here. How about we get to the owl?
Look at triangle, Peyton.
No.
Look at triangle.
How we're not gonna get her out.
Okay.
I got a triangle for mine. No. I got it. No touchy, no touchy. Can I have more?
How many more would you like? Ask her.
I want 3.
Can you hear her 3 sticks?
Here. That's not 3 sticks.
How many are in there?
1, 2.
How many more do you need?
I need 3. 3 like that.
We're missing some. How many plates are we missing? We need 3 more? 3 more? How many do you need? Do you want 3? Okay, get 3. We're missing 1.
Now we need 4 plates.
We need 4 plates
And 4 cups.
and 4 cups.
We just need 1 plate and 1 napkin. We just need 2 napkins and 1 plate and 1 cup.
Okay, so is this
This is mine. This is mine. We have to go.
Put it out this way.
How
How many table settings do we have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
But what if I take mine away? I don't want to have snack today. Then how many do we have?
9.
We have 9. If I take mine away, what will happen?
Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
But you know what? I do want snack. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna put mine back.
9. Now we have 9.
That's right. You think you can climb up and over? Okay, good. Let's try it.
I think a chair will be better with me because I think my legs are over too thick.
All right, we'll try it.
Think of chair. Hey, how about you use this chair?
How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Good.
Okay, here we go. Look up to find a circle. Do you see the circle? Crawl through.
I need it. Another chair here, cause look at how my short my legs are. Can I be?
Yeah. Try that.
Can I be next after Caddy?
Okay, go through. Okay, climb through. Now go down. With the video, I thought it was pretty cool because the kids, you know, they're doing their own little thing. They know exactly what they want. They know exactly how to do certain things, and with the little plate settings and everything, the only way the kid will learn and learn quickly is by touching on things, you know, hand coordination and everything. Because with me, I know I learn everything by doing by hand, by seeing. You know, if you're being told and, you know, to do this and do that, you know, the kid's not going to really understand unless you really show them how to do it. And that's how they pick it up quicker. I mean, you see the little girl, I mean, you know, I mean, she was on it, like counting, you know, the place settings and everything. I mean, that's just easy teaching for kids, especially at that age.
What I like is they're in an environment that they weren't getting told what to say or what to do, but they were given an environment that they can actually learn on their own, and just a little bit of guided instruction on, okay, what about this, what about that, and then it allowed for them to be able to learn, and they help each other out. One girl started counting, the other one came in, they all started counting, they all helped each other in placing it down. Oh, there's more chairs. How many more plates do we need? And she counted 3. She held the plates out. She didn't hand her 3 plates. She said, "You pick out 3 more plates." And so they had to problem solve and be able to figure out how to get it done. How to get, like, oh, the young man, oh, the pillow's not gonna work. I need this chair. Okay, my legs are too short. I need another chair before I fall and hurt myself. So they're really just putting themselves in a position to understand and problem solve and understand how to be able to get to the problem.
Well, I like the fact that they were being challenged. They were constantly being challenged, whether physically. It made me think the last clip about my son, because he is petite and he's a daredevil, so he's going to figure out the best way to get up on the high cabinet with his best friend and be alongside of him, even though his legs are too short. So they're constantly either being challenged by their environment, or they're putting themselves in a situation to challenge their own abilities. So you really see how they can meet their own needs, or you know, like with the table settings, they were taking things away, putting things back. They were pushing it to just a little bit beyond what their comfort zone, and having them really have to think about it and go back. And like at the end when she goes, "Well, I don't want snack. How many do I have?" And they kind of got stuck on it and started counting, and she goes, "Well, no, I do want snack again." And they were able to pick it up kind of quicker the second time around. So just the level of always going just a little bit beyond what they know, just to challenge them a little bit further.
What I noticed, comparing my children to the children in the video, my daughter, comparing her to my son, she's the thinker. She is very calculating, like not in a mischief way, but she's the type of person, she's gonna think it out before she does it. Whereas my son, he's just like, we're just gonna go with the flow and we'll figure it out as we go along, you know. But it's just really funny to see how those children were just, interacting in math. Whereas my daughter, I gave her a task. She had to learn how to count to 100, and it just went beyond that. She went from learning how to count to 100, but also getting involved in math and different mathematics. And so it just really was awesome to see how her independence was in learning. It's just really fun to see how children learn, and how they become more independent, and how their learning increases with their independence, as the adults give them the challenges as well as the experiences.
All right, so that was amazing watching just how that works with the children on a day-to-day basis. And I like how the parents brought out a lot of the different things within that video. Some of the things being how children learn by touching things, how they're figuring out by doing. The teacher is the guide instead of telling the children what to do. And they're constantly being challenged further. And so when you're constantly being challenged, that word constantly is very important. I also like to use the word intention. So you're teaching the children with intention. So you're specifically focusing on trying to get them to do something by what the parents were just saying, being challenged further. They're thinking to figure things out. Thinking is a major, major part of learning. And the more the children have to do that, the more they learn. And so that is going on all day. All right. And then the independence in learning. I like that. That is one of the things that I focus on as well, is to help the children develop the independence. We start out with like the table setting, putting the different plates down. And then the teacher, as you can see, took one away and gave them a what if question. And then they had to kind of go through those steps again to kind of figure out um, what the answer is. And I love that. And guess what? They were doing that at the ages of 3, 4, 5. And believe it or not, they can do it even younger, right? With age appropriate activities. Okay, so let's talk about social and emotional development. So this one is how children express emotions, right? How they control their feelings, other people's feelings, and how they value others. So some things or behaviors to notice are, what words do they use? Are they can they tell you um, they're angry or they're happy or they're sad? And do they give a reason for the emotion? And so when they are upset about something, they can tell you that they're upset, as well as tell you what happened to make them upset. And being able to express themselves in that way is very, very important to interact with other children. Physical development and health. So how children use their motor skills, fingers, hands, their bodies for movement, things like that are very important. And also it includes um, making healthy choices, okay? And why those things are good for them. So that is very, very important as well. The physical has to do with their physical development, right? So when we're going through our day, we may be doing things just like obstacle course, maybe they're jumping rope or things like that. And depending on um, what they can do, their development, maybe it takes them a little bit longer to do certain things, but also making healthy choices, whether it be food or just in their relationship each day with other children and the adults around them is important as well. Language, literacy, and communication. So this would include gestures, spoken word, written word, beginning to enjoy books, reading and writing, and their different conversations. And remember, at the different levels, each child is talking. So even if you have an infant, they are talking, even though their talk maybe sounds, blowing bubbles, things like that, their facial expressions. And then as you move into the toddler years, you'll have maybe a little bit more trying different words. Maybe they're having a conversation with you. You may still not know what they're talking about, but they're still talking. And then moving into toddler, maybe like preschool age, they're writing a little bit more. And so even though they're scribbling with that crayon or pencil or something like that, there's still words on that page, okay? So some behaviors to notice. Do they have a conversation that is back and forth? Or do they ask questions? So remember we talked about that thinking and the having to figure things out. That is also done in their language and their literacy and their communication. So this is a video, A Window to the World, promoting early language and literacy development. And this video is going to talk about how important it is and what is being looked for when children are developing their early language and literacy.
Mira para acá. Otro. Go get it. Go.
Literacy provides a window to the world, ensuring that all children seize their potential for future success. We can make this success a reality by investing in our children early, from birth, in ways that support parents and the caregivers and teachers as they encourage language and literacy development.
Mother duck called. Bye-bye, Mother duck.
The first 3 years of life provide the foundation for the development of the brain's architecture.
Hey, yeah? Are you talking already?
In fact, early experiences shape the way infants and toddlers learn the skills they need to operate effectively in the world. Early in life, young children begin to develop language and literacy through exploration and discovery, through everyday activities,
Good morning. Good morning. Yay.
and by listening to stories.
Can you soar like an eagle? Look at the eagle.
Young children build confidence as effective communicators through simple activities like singing, dancing, and even telling their own stories.
It was a dinosaur was eaten.
No.
Relationships begets community. I mean, you're not in a relationship with just one person.
Loving and caring relationships are central to early language and literacy. It is a child's family and caregiver's task to help infants feel safe in exploring their world. And it is our country's task to support these adults with training and resources for this important endeavor.
It fosters trust, and when a child has trust in his or her life, they will be confident, they will move on and explore.
What color is this fire truck? Red, that's right, it's red. You're so good, right? Give me 5. Good job.
Positive relationships lead to trust. Trust leads to confidence. When young children are confident, they are better able to explore and learn.
Those children that receive that type of dedicated care, that long-term care, that committed care, are going to be more successful in life, regardless of whether they put the uniform on or not.
Early childhood professionals play an invaluable role in setting the stage for a young child's future success.
If we do this right, then we'll have a society that that teams together, works together, that has individual standouts, that has leaders, that has followers, that are contributors, that want to make a difference, that want to continue to see our country to be a very prosperous country, one that is economically and nationally secure.
In 1994, I retired after close to 27 years at Goldman Sachs, where I was a partner working with wealthy private investors and institutional investors. And my wife and I looked at the spectrum, the whole arc of life, and tried to figure out, from the perspective of an investor, where was the best place to make an investment. We'd never looked at philanthropy as a charitable process, but always as an investment process. And it became very evident very early on that the highest return on investment is investing in very young children, actually from conception to about 3 years old.
By supporting parents and those professionals who care for infants and toddlers early on, way before the child ever comes in the door of a kindergarten classroom, we reap significant dividends throughout the entire scholastic career of that child.
If we put the money and actually utilize it early, then the money that we're spending for interventions for students that are exiting primary or middle grades or high school, it would be unnecessary.
Early language and literacy matters. We need to provide parents with information and tools that encourage their young child's early language and literacy development. We need to dedicate resources toward early language and literacy training for professionals who care for infants and toddlers. It is time to invest in early language and literacy development, beginning at birth. In doing so, we open windows for all children to seize their potential.
right, so early literacy in language is very, very important. Um, it's interesting when I'm watching the video, how many of you even thought about the future? How many of you even thought about what goes on in the workplace, right? So early literacy as young as infancy is very connected to adulthood and how as adults we communicate and we connect with those around us. And I love this video and how the adult was talking to the infant, and infant was using different words, different sounds, and she was talking with the infant as if the baby had something to say, and they do, right? So that early communication is key for later on in life. And also an important part in there was the listening aspect of things, the interaction, building language by telling their own stories. The young boy, he had a lot to say. He was telling his story. And all those things are helping to build confidence. They're showing the children a loving, safe, and trusting environment, which makes it even better for the future, right? So as we're developing these children as infants, toddlers, preschoolers, school-age children, it affects us as a society as a whole. And I thought that was very important to bring out. Mathematics. Mathematics has to do with, not exclusively, but counting, numbers, geometry, measurement, patterning, answering questions based on data analysis, right? And some behaviors that you're going to look for or notice are the children using terms like big, small, less, more. In one of the videos we saw, the teacher was asking the children, if I take this away, so take away, how many more? And then are they communicating to the teacher or themselves, each other, as they're using math terms and things like that? So let's take a look at another video, using math talk to support learning. And this is very important. We think that all we have to do is put, some blocks in front of them, or we have to count with them, or they have to write their numbers. But math is so much more than that. And so this video is going to show that.
When you think of teaching math concepts to preschoolers, you may think of counting exercises or other explicit number activities. But new research from the Center for Early Childhood Education at Eastern Connecticut State University suggests that a lot of math learning occurs within the context of classroom play, especially when teachers are talking with children about how to solve problems involving number.
Want to help me count?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The research has shown that number sense is very critical in preschool, and children are actually developmentally tuned in to learn number sense in preschool. The more you talk about numbers to children, the more they learn numbers.
How long do you want your tape?
40 hours.
40 hours? Or 40 pieces? 40 pieces? Okay, how many pieces do you have there? One.
I find myself trying to use math talk in every center that I'm in, even at the snack table. How much more juice do you need?
A lot more?
To make it equal with the water?
Yeah. There's animal out.
Let's see. How many children are in the black area? Is there space for you? So just casually using it throughout the day. Snack, and then box.
Then finish my picture.
That's 3 things. She said snack, then blocks, and then finish picture. She told me 3 things she will do today.
If teachers use rich language about math, or if they encourage children to kind of talk to themselves or to others about mathematics, they'll learn more concepts.
How big do you think his house needs to be?
Bigger than it wants to be.
Okay. I try to engage children using math talk casually. So just modeling the language and the use of numbers. How many cuts do you need? Is it bigger? Is it smaller? How will you know if he fits in there?
He fits in there like this.
Okay.
I just stick him in the hole.
All right. Does he fit? Let's try. Do you need to make the house a little bigger?
Yeah.
When teachers either ask questions of children that encourage them to talk about their mathematical thinking or how they solve mathematical problems, that they also promote mathematical competence.
Math communication is it's not actually part of the curriculum in many other cultures. There's a lot of doing math. There's not as much talk in math. We found communication was significantly important for children.
Tape more.
More tape? How much tape do you think you'll need? How long do you want your piece of tape? You tell me how long. You tell me when to stop.
Engaging children in discussions and activities around number, whether it be counting or judging amounts or how many spaces to move in a game, those kinds of interactions are very useful for promoting math learning.
Picky.
What number do I need to get to the pig?
1.
You think 1? Okay, let's see.
No.
What did I get?
1, 2.
2. Ready? Count with me. 1,
2.
I did get to the piggy.
For the teachers to encourage children to talk about, say, a wrong answer, to talk about a misconception, to talk about a failed reasoning. Those are all very, very valid.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
I want a cow.
You wanted the cow, but you had 6.
Okay. 1, 2.
You really can see how you can incorporate it everywhere. It becomes part of your classroom lingo and part of your classroom language.
So how many more do you need to add?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, so we see, excuse me. All right, so we see that mathematical learning is not just counting, it's not just working with numbers and just blocks. It actually has to do with the talking and the thinking and conversation daily through math. So I like how to solve problems using numbers in conversation. Very, very important. The more children have conversation, the better. And even when they're not talking out loud and they're thinking and talking to themselves about how to figure out things is important as well. The teacher said even at the snack table or throughout the day is very important. And casual conversations are important as well. Talking about mathematical thinking is important. And I like the doing versus talking. So doing is one thing. Talking takes it to a whole nother level, takes your math to another level. And then also talking about wrong answers. So that is key, not saying, oh, that's wrong, but actually giving them the time or the asking them the questions to figure out for themselves what the correct answer is or how to correct an answer or something like that. So that was amazing. The math talk, I love that. Science and technology. How do children observe and make sense of the world? So science and technology would deal with observing, testing, predicting, making conclusions, and sharing their feelings. And how do they use the tools and technology? So we're not just sitting a child in front of the computer and saying, go for it. We're not just giving them a game and calling back technology. Science is not just looking out the window and saying, oh, it's cloudy today. I mean, those are important, but the science aspect of feeling and touching and experiencing and observing and making predictions, those are all really, really important things for science and technology. So what are some behaviors to notice? So how are they sorting and matching things, right? How do they mention things being the same and different? And what does or does not belong and their reason? So in one of our science activities, we were going through looking at birds, and we created a chart, and we would put a tally mark if we saw a particular bird, and then at the end count them up. And so not only would we talk about those birds, study them, we would also see how many we saw in our environment as we were playing outside, how they interacted with nature. So that was really, really important and a lot of fun for the children as well. So let's take a look at, and these videos really give the visual of what is and what should be going on within a learning environment. And I like this one as the children are working on what is called the STEM, Science and STEM Exploration Centers, to empower and inspire young children. All right, so let's take a look.
Children are naturally curious. They have the desire to learn about the world around them. What can early childhood teachers do to inspire and empower the young child? Early science and STEM experiences should include exploratory learning, allowing children to learn content through the process of inquiry, allowing for plenty of opportunities for children to explore, discover, and investigate. Science and STEM experience teachers provide for young children should involve a variety of learning materials, including children's literature, consumables, and manipulatives. Incorporate lessons and exploration centers that allow children to use all of their senses and explore different types of matter, including water, rocks, plants, soil, mud, and everyday household materials. Incorporate meaningful and age-appropriate technology. The T in STEM is much more than incorporating the use of computers and digital technology. Any tool a child places in their hand to make observations and gather data is considered technology. What can you do as an early childhood teacher to inspire and empower the children that you reach? What does it feel like?
Feels like.
Is it cold? Is it warm?
Warm.
Does it have a smell? Can you smell anything?
Look, mine filled all the way to the top. Mine filled all the way to the top.
And what's happening? Look on the bottom. What's the sand doing?
It's going down here.
Reuse it too.
Oh, you drew the pumpkin. You want to do it over here?
With you, and you're gonna put it back when you're done, right? You do another one if you want. Yeah, here's a nice heart.
She's on the floor looking underneath the door.
Some water in these, don't we? Let's dump a little bit. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it.
Feel this. This is so heavy. Feel.
Which one do you think is heavier, Dexter?
I think this is heavier.
You do? All right, let's see.
Good job.
We dunk. 5. Jump.
Over here. Which one's heavier?
I think both of them are on top.
A little bit closer. Look at that. Look at the black dots. All those colors.
Straight, then left, then right, then straight, then right, then left, then right, then left, then straight, then down. Patrick, making the one for you.
Oh my goodness! Wow, look at that. But see, notice it because I went like that, see?
Hey, baby, look at those pretty fingers you have.
You got Walmart and then 44 inches tall. Bug in here because we don't want to lose him. Put him in his new house. All right. I think you guys found them, almost all of them.
Pull it all the way to the top.
But it's okay, why don't if I put 2, it's heavy.
Never been.
I know. Huh? Okay. You want to do this? Let's put your...
You're gonna help. Here we go. Push it down. Push.
Beautiful.
Now we're gonna flip it. Flip.
Beautiful.
When you fold that one over 2.
23,
24. 26.
Oh, so sweet.
27.
The one does not
That's right.
That. Right? Pretty cool, right?
What do you think makes the sound?
I know, you can't, but once it goes over here.
You think so? On the speaker? Look at that. Look at, there's a spring in there.
It's what else?
Is it going to come apart?
There you go.
I took this apart from right here.
You got any, Sarah?
Oh, wow.
There's a space for you.
Look at this.
Only gotten a couple so far that are that.
That one?
Can I try again?
Yes, you're going to try the oobleck again. How does it feel? Smooth? And then lift it up. Let's see. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, beautiful. Look at that print of the shell.
Make your choice.
See. What you made?
I'm trying to make a sea life.
A sea life.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't have to bury him because then we will put some more soil on.
So
Slimy?
yeah.
Do you see the lines on its body?
It's scary.
Gently on the top.
As all around. Sticks so I could climb on.
So we have to take care of all the living creatures on our planet.
They are climbing.
So what did you make there?
A flower.
And what's this part up here?
That's the sky.
You got a millipede there.
This one.
So what's inside of there?
A hermit crab.
A hermit crab.
We're trying to get it.
What does it feel like? Is it hard or soft?
He tickles. Have more. Love more. Yeah. You want all the crystal water? Look one hat. Look one. He's not gonna split his legs. He's running his tongue on me. Look up, it's baby. That's how you hold it. Ooh, that's. Yeah, my garlic is ready. Well, it's not ready.
So work together. No, Lorelai, let's. Well, this one is struggle.
Yeah, Roman. It's a cool robot, huh, Roman? Yeah. Nice job. All right, Evan, you want to put his arm in? Sorry, cube or here?
Got another.
We laid it out and we connected it. Right, Tail?
Wow.
Show Dr. Diane.
I am so impressed.
Well, we're done now. You did all that hard.
That is a water tube.
See what it does? One straight.
Put it in the front. Well, this is the front. If you want to put it here, then this would be the back.
Bring it back to me.
Lefty Lucy.
Tyler.
All right, so there was a lot going on in this video, and it was all good stuff. I think science is probably one of, if not the most favorite of mine, because you can take something so simple and spend time on it so the children can explore and learn. And you don't have to have a lot of the bells and whistles and get really expensive or anything like that. You can go outside and get leaves, pine cones, different kinds of grass. We would be outside playing, and everything is a teachable moment. All right, so you never know when those things will come out. We used to see the praying mantises in the backyard. We would talk about them, look at them, study them. It was amazing. We even had cicadas, ants, all kinds of different things, worms, even laying on the ground and looking at the clouds. All right, so that was one of our favorites. But I like the fact that their natural curiosity was brought out in those activities. There was a lot of exploratory learning. There was a variety of learning materials, and their senses were being brought out. I love that. And children love that as well. Remember, they like to smell, taste, see, feel things. And that is how you get that authentic experience. And another thing that I do is sometimes I incorporate the dress up within some of my activities. So like I saw the kids, and you can see where the video stopped here with the lab coats on and things like that. I mean, like they really get into it, the goggles, all those types of things. And then they love to take things apart. If you have an old computer or an old phone or something like that, you can take things apart like that. And then getting messy is a big thing as well. We get messy, and the children like that as well, and should not be afraid of it. Adults, don't be afraid of it. And also with the worms and the different bugs and things like that, I know they could be a little icky, but children love those things. They love to explore those things. So incorporate them. Um, it's a lot of fun. The children will love it. All right, social studies. Now this is looking at who we are, how we fit into the world, interacting with family, community, and schools. And children learn about differences and becoming aware of new places. And they think about the past. And a lot of what we do is storytelling. And storytelling brings out a lot of those things that we learn. And then behaviors to notice: share stories about themselves or family using words that show how long ago, right? So sometimes children don't have a concept of time, but one of the important things I want to bring up is to teach them the terms for things, the terms for different math things, the math terminology, using words like long ago and all that. And so while we're doing that, we're also building literacy. See how things are all connected. And once we do those things over again, they are hearing it, right? They are learning how to use it in everyday language. And then they will develop those skills and be able to understand concepts like long ago. The last that I want to talk about is creative arts. And I saved this for last because this is one of the most critical parts of teaching that is kind of slowly easing out of our schools. And I bought every kind of instrument there could be. We've made a lot of different instruments. We do a lot of arts and crafts, and I'm not talking about just on paper. We're like outside painting, and we use a variety of different materials to paint. We dance, drama, all kinds of things. So creative arts is how do children express themselves through art, through music, movement, pretend play, drama, dance. And you're not looking at the product, you're really focusing on discovery. And that is how children learn. And it is awesome to watch how they express their feelings through art, or I should say through the arts, which includes a lot of what we just mentioned with art, music, movement, all types of things. And we have to make those things accessible to them so that they can bring those things out. And behaviors to notice: how much of a song do they sing? And this is just an example using song. Is the song familiar? Is the song complex with many pitches or verses? Right? So are they using pitches, right? Or do they know the verses? That's very interesting. And where does their imagination fit in with these activities? So they may know a familiar tune, and they may sing their own words to it, right? Or they may say, "Hey, I know this song, but I'm going to do something else with it, or I'm going to play this on the instrument or something like that. I'm going to draw, what I feel in this particular piece of music." And we have to remember expression, passion, and storytelling equals the creativity. And once again, this creativity helps with career and future. And I want to leave you with this video: encourage creativity, teaching the arts, just to see how not just in the preschool area, but all the way up through high school and into adulthood, how important this is. And creative arts is not just one thing. It's not just painting. It's not just music. It encompasses everything. Each child is unique and creative in their own way. And I think this video really sums it up for us here.
The ability to express through dance and music and visual arts is amazing. Every child should have an opportunity to do that.
By them participating and producing a work of art in their own ways, it gives them a chance to succeed.
Through telling their stories, they learn about themselves.
I sometimes use color in my drawings, but usually it's without color. I started when I was quite young, like 2 or 3 years old. It can help you focus before a big test at school, or you can do it when you're stressed out. It just helps you think. I do gymnastics, and I didn't make it a state last year because I was very, very tense and I didn't do it that well.
He would be phenomenal halfway through a competition, and something would happen where if he had one error or 2 errors, it would get to him naturally. A lot of athletes have this issue. The coaching staff allowed him to pull out his drawing pad and draw during competitions.
It just helps calm me. It makes me feel just tune out the world and just focus on one thing instead of how you're gonna do and what your score gonna be on the podium. It just calms me. This year when I drew, I got the top score in my age division, and I qualified really, really easily.
It allows him to not worry about what could happen and letting all of his emotions and feelings come out on a pen and pad. And at the end of the season, his performance dramatically improved.
The arts are so important because it addresses the needs of the whole child. I see the correlation between academic achievement, creativity, and the arts.
A student may find his voice within the arts, and it might start off as a whisper, and it slowly progresses into a steady, solid voice that they can express themselves.
I've seen the magic that takes place. Someone who hears for the first time, your story matters. That is revolutionary in a young person's life.
I love to read and love to write and love to dance. Dancing helps me get friends, and it feels so good to get mean stuff and sad stuff out of me.
She's always been an outgoing kid ever since she was small, very happy baby. When it was time for her to actually start school, she's very excited. I'm on my first day of school, things like that.
What's this word? A baby rattle.
And she was actually bullied by 2 different girls the entire school year. And she kind of became introverted and she didn't want to go to school anymore. Her schoolwork started to fail a little bit.
I get bullied a lot and it makes me sad and mad. It's bad for other people to get bullied and they don't want to go back to school no more.
We had to learn how to teach her when you're frustrated or when you're angry and you can't express it. The one thing you can do is get in front of a mirror on a wood floor and you dance it out until you can. And it kept her motivated. She actually got, the second quarter, she got 100s every week until the end of the school year. And I owe it to dance.
I really love dancing and I'm never gonna stop dancing. When I grow up, I'm still gonna be a dancer.
Arts education is an integral part of students' ability to learn, students' ability to access not just the curriculum, but also the world.
It just gives them a huge boost of confidence that will support them through life.
They can get that empowerment, can tell their story, and perhaps find a career path.
Art is really something that adorns and brings beauty. It's really influenced school and lots of things in my life. The Composer Fellowship program was something I discovered through My youth orchestra I played in when I was 11 years old. I got really excited. I looked up the requirements. I had to submit about 10 different pieces with scores, the sheet music, and the recordings.
Andrew's been in the program for a year. It's infrequent that we take incoming freshmen into this program, but his work blew us away. He's got something very special, both musically based, but also as a human being.
I do school online. I love it. I've done it since the 6th grade. This is my world right here. This is my canvas. Things are written down. The entire orchestra performed a piece of mine in February, and it was just unreal. Never dreamed of anything like that.
It's both about artistry and musicianship and the technicality, but also about citizenship and sharing yourself with the world in a larger way.
Art greatly influences other aspects of life, especially in a school situation. Art in general, whether it be drawing, painting, singing, doing music, allows for passion and some deep part of you just to be expressed.
The arts are vital. People's stories are precious, and increasingly, arts funding has been slashed and cut throughout the public school system in our country.
Why is it an option? Why do we have to apply for grants to provide arts for our children? It shouldn't be that way. It's just as valuable as math and reading and science. And if we don't voice that concern and if we don't demand the arts for our schools, it's not going to happen. We have to be a voice for our students.
There has to be something in our educational policies that says arts education is fundamental. Arts education is essential. We need all levels of government to see that importance and to be able to provide this kind of funding.
Our economy, our future depends on providing students and citizens who are capable, who are thinking, and who are making decisions about our world.
Art is the pathway to experiencing deep beauty in this world, and so many children today have very, very little access to that.
Okay, so wow. I think that encompasses everything that we've just talked about. So I hope that you take away a lot from this presentation. This was a little bit different than what I normally do, but this was so very important. And I get a lot of questions from parents, from family childcare providers, and like, how do I know my child is learning? So let's go over just a little bit of a checklist here. So when you are trying to understand how the children are learning, think of this checklist. How do children describe details? What words do they use for emotions? How do they make healthy choices and why it's good for them? How do they have a back and forth discussion? Do they ask questions? How are they using tools for measuring? What words are they using to describe, like big, small, fast, slow, cold, warm? How much of a song do they sing? Do they use pitches or verses? What are they sorting and matching? Do they say words like same and different? Do they talk about what doesn't belong or does belong? And how did they share stories about themselves? So through this video, I hope that you have developed, maybe you can use this checklist or have developed your own. And I have some links here of the resources that I used to help create this presentation, from Core Advantage, just different articles on how to support learning at home, a guide using tech learning, and I put a few of my videos on this list. You Are a Teacher, resources for preschoolers. And for parents, can I really teach my children? A little creativity goes a long way. And there are other videos. Take a look at them to help you teach children using my resources videos and other things to really, really make a well-rounded family child care center. And also as parents and caregivers, how and what to teach and what to look for. And also some books that I've used. So This is Normal by Deborah Hewitt and Teach Me to Do It Myself by Maja Patami. All right, so once again, thank you. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, put your comments down below. What do you use to help parents to show them how their children are learning? So I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.